Another thing that it can do is then cause you to start losing your credibility.
You're listening to the Streamline Success Show. I'm your host, Dagmar Schult. In this podcast, we talk about how AI and automation can help busy coaches like you simplify their online businesses. We share practical advice that you can start using immediately. Hello, everybody. Today is with me, Casey Bates. And Casey Bates is an accomplished author, international speaker, and master life coach. As the owner and founder of Your Inspired Books coaching and publishing services, Casey specializes in guiding Christian nonfiction authors through the process of writing and self-publishing their impactful messages. She offers comprehensive done-for-you publishing services and is dedicated to helping authors make a meaningful connection with their audience. Additionally, Kathy is passionate about empowering women to overcome shyness and embrace their God-given callings. She enjoys traveling and outdoor adventures with her husband. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Thank you. This is actually a very special episode for me, having a Christian publishing coach. I never had that. I guess there is the point of ethical aspects in your work that are more important than for others, I think. Do you think it is ethical for an author to use AI when writing their book? And what are some considerations?
Yes, there's definitely ethical things to consider. And if you're doing it the right way, there's always a right and a wrong way to use AI. It can be used for good, it can be used for bad. And so if you are using it the right way, then there shouldn't be any concerns. AI is a powerful tool and can be very helpful. It's not meant to write your book for you, but if you use it as a tool to help you, if you need help rewriting something, wording something, whatever, if you use it as more of just a tool to help you out, there's no problem with that. The problem comes in ethically, at least I believe so, when you let AI write the book for you, because then you're not writing the book.
And actually, this is not really authentic, so it will not come from your heart, obviously, because it comes from a robot.
Yeah.
Yes, and I guess people can see that and it will shine through. Yeah. So how can authors really ensure they are using AI responsible and ethically? Are there any dangers of using AI?
There actually are a lot of dangers to using AI. You might not think so. It's what's wrong with using it. Aside from the whole ethical side of things is, first of all, AI it's pulling information from other areas, and there's a lot of stuff out there. Some is right and some is wrong. And I coach Christian nonfiction authors, and nonfiction should be factual. And AI is not always accurate. And
No.
so if you do not verify the information that AI is giving you, you could potentially be putting wrong information out there. It could lead to either just a poor reader experience, or worse yet, it could harm your reader in some way, depending on what type of wrong information you're giving them. Another thing that it can do is then cause you to start losing your credibility.
Yeah.
And so it's always really important to verify any information as a nonfiction author, that the information you're getting is factual. And you can even ask AI to give you the source that if you're asking for a specific type of thing, you can ask, can you give me the source, so that you can then go out and verify that. Otherwise, I would do some research and make sure you're looking for it. AI has been overused already. Like, it came on so strong, so fast, and it started getting abused like right away. And there has been some crackdowns already. Amazon, which is the biggest platform for authors, they've shut some accounts down because of things not being done right. So there are definitely dangers in misusing AI, and you have to know what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Yeah, actually, that's right. So I'm actually doing an AI trainer certification training. And we were talking exactly about that. Can LLMs, a large language model, which is behind AI tools, can they be wrong? And of course they can, because what is fed to these tools is human knowledge. So humans are not
Yeah.
always right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's that saying, garbage in, garbage out. So if
right.
it's pulling from stuff that's not factual, it's going to spit out the non-factual stuff.
Yeah. And in special, ChatGPT at least is not able to really give quotes. You can ask for it, and it will give you something, but it's never the actual quote. It's an interpretation of that quote. So
Uh,
you need to be very careful with that too. Yeah. And the reason for that is because um, the knowledge behind it that it got feed with, it doesn't remember all of that. It's not all stored. It's just a comprehended version of it. It's
mhm.
there. Like you would learn by yourself. You don't learn the whole book in school. You have the details that you need, the important things that you
Yeah.
write down. And the same way happens to teaching large language models. So that's why it can't really quote.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's just, again, if you're asking it for a quote, then you can ask for the source and then
Hmm.
go out and verify what the real quote is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
did this
good.
too, and it gave me an article in Forbes, and I was thinking, oh, that's great, and I clicked on the link because I got the link, and it got to the Forbes homepage. That didn't
Oh,
really help me.
yeah, no, that didn't quite take you where you needed to be.
Yeah, that we know it's not always right, and quotes are really a concern here. Should authors be concerned about losing their creativity if they ask AI for giving them all the things they need?
Again, if they're using it in the right way, then no, because it's no different than we used to use Google search, which really is AI. There's a lot of AI stuff we've been using for years, but we
Right.
never thought of it as being AI. We'd go out and search
Mm,
Google, or we'd go to the library and look something up. And so if you're using AI as just like a resource, you're just gathering either ideas or things like that, and then using your own creativity to put it in your own words. If, again, like I said, if you're letting AI write your book for you, then, and you continue to do that, which there's a lot of people doing that, unfortunately, especially low content books, but other books too. There's a lot of other stuff out there. Then you're gonna lose that creativity because you're no longer using your brain to come up with those creative ideas. And so you're gonna maybe not lose it, but you're not going to be using it. It's going to go dormant, so to speak, until you decide to actually start writing from your own thoughts. And so it can be a danger. I think those who maybe are misusing AI are probably not the ones who were the creative type anyways. If you're a real creative, you want to get your own story out there. And so you're not going to let AI do it for you.
yeah, I understand. But you mentioned something about research. So how can you best use AI to research for your book? Or what is the best process?
There's a lot of different things that an author can do to use AI. And I'm just going to use ChatGTP as an example because that's the one that I think everybody is most aware of right now, even though, like I
Yeah.
said, there's a lot of other tools out there that are really AI. But using AI, let's say an author just starting off has an idea for a book. And let's say you want to help people get out of debt, maybe, but you're just not really sure how you want to present that. There maybe are different angles you could come at. And so you could feed into ChatGTP or other AI devices. I want to write a book about this, how to XYZ, and give as much detail as possible. And then ask something like, can you give me some ideas on what angle I could approach this with. I'm not sure if I want which direction I want to present it in. Or you could use AI to research. Let's say that you have an idea and you want to present this specific point in your book, and you want to have something to back it up besides maybe just your own personal experience. And so you could ask AI, can you give me a testimony or a report or an article or something that backs up what I'm trying to say to give it credibility? And
Oh,
then what I would do is ask for the source.
yeah.
But always, like I said, always ask for the source and then verify it, because as you said, even when you verify it, sometimes the source they give you isn't accurate. But that can, if there's any truth at all to what they're giving you, then if you go out and verify it, you can get the full big picture and use that and then footnote it in your book. You can, and I just want to note, you always want to give credit where credit is due, because again, AI is pulling information from all over. Anything that's been put out there publicly, it's pulling from in all these sources. And so we were taught way back when that if you're going to take something out of the encyclopedia, you would footnote it, give it its credit that it's due. And it really, using AI is no different, because you should give credit where credit is due. If there's a source behind that, you should try to, especially if you're doing a quote or it's an
Yeah.
article or something like that, that's easily verifiable, and to put that in your footnotes or endnotes. Some other ways you could use AI is to maybe punch in some different title ideas. I'm writing a book about XYZ. And again, with AI, it's really important to give it as much information as possible. Be very detailed. And then say, I'm really struggling with some title ideas. Here's some of them that I came up with. Can you give me 5 ideas or 10 ideas or subtitle ideas, chapter ideas, things like that? I'm writing a chapter about this and I'm struggling with the title idea. Can you give me some ideas? And then you can take what they give you. And what I've done for some things is I've not liked any of them that they gave me, but I like this word in this idea and this word in
Yes.
this idea, and I create my own out of what it gives me. So it's a way to pull information and take that information that you've received, analyze it, and then put it in your own words and use it as it is appropriate.
There are different stages in writing a book, I've learned. So,
Yeah.
can you tell me a little bit about these stages and how you can use AI in these different stages?
Sure. So it goes back to some of what I've already said. If there's the stage of, oh, I think I want to write a book, or I have an idea for a book. And so the example I gave about the debt, that would be an example of, I want to write a book about this, but I'm not really sure that beyond that, really how I want to approach it. You could, and then there's, okay, so now you have your topic. How do I get started? One of the things that's important when you're writing a book is to know who your audience is. And so you could plug into ChatGPT everything that you can think of. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. This is who I want to reach. I think these people, whatever. Can you help me come up with a defining who my audience really is? And again, give it as many parameters as possible. And then you go on to, you're collecting your thoughts and you're getting your outline. And a lot of people struggle with the outline. And there's more to that story, which I won't get into here. That's in my training. But you can take your thoughts for your book and, again, detail, and have AI help you to write your outline. Your outline is really just a guide to help you get an idea of what order you want to put things in and to stay focused on the content so you don't forget certain content. So it can help you write your outline. As you're writing your book, you might get stuck with wording, how you're stuck on something. Like I was struggling with something the other day and I'm like, I know what I want to say, but I can't get the words out the right way. So I plugged it into AI and it reworded it for me. And I'm like, yes, that's what I was trying to say. So you can let it help you reword things. AI at that point is not writing it for you. It's just rewording what you've already written. So
Yeah.
you're not abusing AI. And then you go on to your editing and so forth, and you can have it look it over and see if there's grammar and that type of thing. Now, there's different types of AI tools for that. I wouldn't really use ChatGPT myself. You can, but there's other ones like Grammarly and just other ones that you can plug that stuff in. That's what it's for. And it will tell you if you have grammar issues or spelling and things like that. So that's all AI that you can use through different stages of your writing process.
Oh, cool. Yeah. When ChatGPT now rewrites what you want to express, could it be that you end up with plagiarism because it uses something somebody else used before?
It can, and that's why I say if you're going to use what they tell you, to always verify it. But if you wrote something in your own words and you ask it to just reword it for you, obviously you want to read it over. One, you want to make sure it's accurate. You want to make sure it sounds like your voice, so you're not losing your voice in your book. And if they put stuff in there that isn't accurate, then you're going to want to check it out, or put stuff in there that you didn't even ask it to, then that might be something you want to look at because, yes, it could be doing that. And here's an example of how AI can take what you give it and twist it. One of my authors used AI to help her write her author bio for her book. She plugged in all the information about herself and then asked it to write it. One of the things that she plugged in is that as a child, she used to journal. And it came back with that she likes to journal extensively for blah, 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 blah. None of that was true. That wasn't true. She doesn't journal now like she did when she was a child. That was just something she did as a child. And so it'll take what you give it and sometimes read more into it than what there really is.
Yes, that's right. I've experienced that too. That's so
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So it's important to have a look over it and just don't put it out without any correction or
Yeah.
any to at least check it.
Yeah.
That's
And
so
that's
good.
why I always tell my authors is no matter what it gives you, read it over and put it in your own words. Even if
Mhm.
you change a couple of words and use even what they give you, make sure you're changing it to some degree. Don't use it word for word.
Yeah, that's right. So I have no experience, obviously, in writing a book with AI, but I did a lot of social media posts. And what came to my awareness was that if you let it write by ChatGPT, all the social media posts have the same structure and they use very similar words. So they're, for example, what ChatGPT loves to say is, let's delve into. Actually, I've never heard somebody say that. All the people say let's dive into.
Yeah,
But when I
right.
see when I see a social media post that says let's delve into, I know it was written by
Anyway,
ChatGPT.
oh, you got that from ChatGPT, didn't you?
Yeah. And also in the summary, it also uses this is a treasure trove. That is
Oh,
something
yeah,
it
that
loves.
one is used a lot. Yep.
I
And
love it.
that's a dead giveaway if it's using words that you don't typically use. And the other thing you keep in mind is there's different regions of the world that use English differently. Like one of my clients is
Yes.
from Singapore. She speaks English, that's her native language, but it's a different English than what we have. So when she wrote her book, it was in and out of like US English and UK English, whatever. And so she had to do a lot of cleanup. And if you're using ChatGPT for any kind of research like that, you can also specify what language, put it in US English, but then again, you're still going to want to verify it because words that are used like in UK English are different than words we use
Yeah.
here in the
Very,
US.
very different.
And if you were to write them, I might not know what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
you have to be careful when you're writing your book who your audience is, what's their location so that you're using the proper English if you're writing in English, because English is a hard language, and unfortunately there's a lot of different versions of it.
Yes, that's right. So, yeah, that's cool. We're talking about an audience. So we have the bridge to marketing. So I know I do marketing, so I know you can use AI in marketing too. How would this apply to authors? How can they use ChatGPT or other AI to market their books?
Similar to everything else that you plug into it, you can ask it for ideas. For instance, you could say, I want to, okay, so I'm writing a book. Again, you go back to detail, give it as much detail as possible. You can train AI to understand your voice and what you want, but you can tell it, I want this to be sound funny, I want it to be casual, I want it to be professional, or whatever. What
Yeah.
tone do you want it to come back at? And so let's say you want to do some social media posts. Maybe it's Instagram. So again, be specific. I want to make some Instagram posts. This is my topic. This is what I want to get across or whatever. And can you give me 10 days of social media ideas or 30 days of social media ideas? And it will spit out all kinds of ideas. And there are times where when I've used ChatGTP, I'm like, that's not at all what I'm asking. I'm asking you for this, and I'll have to tell them all over again what I want, but word it differently. And it'll spit some stuff out. I'm like, no, you're still not getting it. You know? And so there have been times where it doesn't understand what I'm saying. It just spits out completely wrong answers. And that's where as much detail as possible helps you out, but it can help you get some ideas for social media posts. Emails. If you're not really good at writing emails, you
Mhm.
can, let's say you want to do an email, you're ready to launch your book and you want to send out a sequence of emails, maybe 5 emails or something like that. And again, give the AI the detail of what you're accomplishing, what you're doing. It's your book launch, and the first email, I want to say something about this, and I want this sequence. Can you give me 5 emails or 10 emails or whatever? And then again, tell it, I want it to be friendly, or I want it to be professional. Tell it that is what you want to get out of it. And then you can do an email marketing campaign. Um, you can use it to get ideas to create videos,
Mhm.
like shorts or even long videos. Like if you were going to do, have not a podcast, a YouTube channel, and you want to do long format videos, you can get ideas. If you want to do shorts, can you give me some text, some ideas for doing reels on YouTube or on Instagram, and tell it the topic and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to spit out all these ideas for you so that you have some content now ready to go, and you can go and create that without having to try to come up with a month's worth of stuff. It can be very
Yeah.
helpful in that. But like you said, depending on what you're asking it, if it spits out a quote from somebody, go verify that. So again, it always goes back to that.
Yeah, it's so important, I know. And I don't know, did you have the experience? So I had the experience when I started with ChatGPT, and I was getting answers in the beginning. They all sounded really like university professor is talking to his students or something like that. So I can't write that.
Yeah, yeah,
So I thought, and I didn't, English is obviously not my first language. So I had a hard time coming up with the right description of the tonality. I asked it to be more casual. I thought that would be enough. But
yeah.
then it came back like a 16-year-old talking to his buddies. That wasn't the tone that I
Yeah,
wanted
right.
either. So
Yeah.
in the beginning, I had a hard time. Now it's really trained on how I express things. So the answers are now really good that come back.
Yeah. And the thing is, like I said, you don't like the answer, just say, no, that's not what can you do this? Or you can say, okay, these are good, but Like I had put something in, I'm a coach for Christian nonfiction authors. Can you help me with, I don't even remember what I was working on. And it came back with all of these, like either Bible verses or, and I'm like, no, the answer, this does not have to be, the answers are not Christian in nature. I'm just telling you who my audience is. And so then it gave me more answers that were not so like Bible based. I wasn't trying to teach them the Bible. It's just that these are my people, but that's not what I'm going for. So you just keep saying, no, that's not what I want. Can you do this? Or, yeah, those are great answers, but can you tweak them to be a little more like this or that? Or when give me some more ideas. Can you expand on, or against like, I like number 2 and number 5. Can you
Yeah,
expand on those two? Give me more ideas like those.
yeah.
And it knows what number 2 and number 5 are because it just gave them to you. So you can keep going back until you get something that you like. And like me, every once in a while, I've had to just give up. Okay, you're not understanding what I'm asking you. I quit.
Maybe you have just to start over and
Yeah.
start it anew. Yeah, that helps sometimes. Of course, if you write a book, you want to engage with your readers. Can AI also help with that?
Yeah, it really can. And again, it's like we all think of ChatGPT, but there's so many other things out there that are, if it's computer generated, it's AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing I did in my self-editing book was I just wanted to do something a little fun and different than that other authors were doing. And so I created a word search at the end of each chapter. And the words for that word search puzzle, were all based off of that chapter.
Okay.
And if I was just talking about editing, then I pulled words from that chapter, created this word search, and put it at the end of that chapter. I just for fun or something like that is what I put at the
Yeah.
title, just for fun. And then the words are listed below, and you can go and find those words. You can do crossword puzzles. You can have quizzes. There's different types of quizzes where you've probably seen them on social media. What kind of animal are you? Answer these
Yes.
questions. Are you a cat? Are you a dog? Or whatever. And people love those things because they're just fun. And so you could do that not necessarily in your book, but in your promotional stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
in social media. So it's a way to engage your audience, keep them interested in your content, things like that. And there's different softwares out there available to create different things like that. Quiz softwares, there's what I used for the puzzle. So you can do that, surveys, polls, things of that nature. You can in your book put a link to it, like maybe you have it on your website or something, have it somewhere where they can click a link to take this quiz. And some
Mm-hmm.
authors will use a quiz or some sort of a survey to get to know more about their audience. And then if they're trying to create a business off of their book, then now that interaction has given them more information to reach out to them and try to help
Mm.
them.
That's right. What you also don't know if you have experience with that, is having instead of a link that they need to type then into their computer, you can have a QR code
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can scan.
Yep. I use QR codes every now and then. Those are nice
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Do you have specific AI tools that you could recommend for quizzes or other things to engage?
ChatGTP is a great one because they do offer a free platform. There's paid and there's free, and you can do everything you need to do for the most part in the free version. So
Yeah.
if you're just starting off, I would just go with ChatGTP. Um, and I'm sure there's other ones out there. That's the most popular one. Why not just go with it? Because if you have questions on it, there's probably somebody that can answer because it is so popular.
Yeah.
Other AIs, like I said, your editing type apps check your grammar and stuff. There's
Mhm.
Grammarly, there's the Hemingway app, there's Pro
Yeah.
Writing Aid. There's a lot. And I would just Google search or go into ChatGPT. Like, what are the top 10 apps
Good idea.
to help me with XYZ,
Yeah.
whatever it is?
Yeah.
Because there's so many that have come out now in whatever it is you're trying to find. Like if you want to create crossword puzzles, do a Google search or something. What are some apps to help me create crossword puzzles. And if there's free resources out there that are going to accomplish what you need, use those. You don't have to start off with paid everything. A lot of times authors just starting off, they don't have a lot of extra resources and they need that money to hire an editor, a formatter, a cover designer. So save those resources. There's a lot of free stuff out there these days that you can use to accomplish everything that you need to do to get your book finished.
That's right. Talking about cover designers, do you have experience with image creation by AI? So that is something that is there too.
Yeah, there are different AI tools for that. You got to be very careful with image creators. Midjourney is probably the one that I know about the most, and I think it's probably pretty good quality. Canva has an AI generator for images, but what I've found in a lot of image creators, like people will post stuff, what do you think of my cover or whatever? And so the guy has 3 legs or 6 fingers and 3 ears. And so you have to be very careful. And I'm sure that there are some of them that are much better than others that have been more developed. And I would read reviews on them. If you're going to have a computer generated image, read reviews on the software or just hire it out. I just like to hire it out, let someone else do
Yes,
it so I can work on other things. But if you're going to
right.
do it yourself, do your research. What's the best ones? Are there any free ones that have good reviews? And even if you use them, even the best, check them out very carefully because especially when you have people or even animals, to make sure that they're anatomically correct, they have the right number of toes and fingers and ears and eyes, and because I have seen many that were wrong.
Sometimes maybe that is what the author wants, could be.
It could be if you're doing some sci-fi, but unfortunately, the ones that I've seen, that wasn't the case.
Okay, I see. Okay, Kathy, how do you see the role of AI in the future for authors?
I think AI is here to stay, for
Yeah.
one. However, I think there's going to be a lot more policing, maybe. I'm not sure. AI, like I said, came so fast out of the gate and people just jumped on it. And there's a lot of coaches out there that say, I've seen ads for that make me cringe. Write your book in 10 minutes with AI. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's not your book then, because if you're writing a book in 10 minutes, you didn't write it. You might as well put AI as the author name. And
Right.
so there's been so much abuse like that. And it breaks my heart because there's authentic authors who have been writing for years and worked so hard at their craft, to have people come along and just almost diminish it with saying, we don't just use AI. You can write your book in 10 minutes, whatever. And because of that, there has been already a pushback from authors for plagiarism and things like that, unauthorized use. And like I said, Amazon has cracked down already, and other platforms probably have too. Amazon has put into place questions. Did you use AI to generate your content? And then it asks you like all of it, some of it, or whatever, some, but with changes. And then you have to answer that question honestly because they can verify it. Like
Yeah.
they run your stuff through, I don't know how they do it, but they run it through stuff and they can tell. And if you lied, they'll instantly shut your account down.
Mhm.
And when Amazon decides to shut your account down, they don't send you a nice, kind email saying, we found this problem and you have 5 days to fix it, or we'll close your account. Oh, no, they just close it. You go out there, next thing your account's closed, or you get an email saying your account is closed.
Mhm.
And so I see more of that where there's a little more policing and people are able to start recognizing some AI stuff, but at the same time, as AI improves, it becomes harder to recognize some of that AI
Yes.
stuff.
Mhm.
But the bottom line is AI cannot replace a human. Even
No.
though they might be trying to do that, the creativity that is in us is not in AI. AI doesn't know what's in our brains. AI doesn't live out our personal experiences.
No.
And so we will always have the upper hand and be able to write authentically from our hearts. And so AI, I think, like I said, is here to stay, but it's not going to replace us. And I don't think we need to be afraid of that because it just can't replace our experiences.
No, I definitely think the same. So I guess that AI written books sound very similar to each other. So it will be very soon boring,
Yeah.
and it will not, as you said, it will not have the creativity that we have. And you always will, that will always shine through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think you'll
sure.
start seeing a divide where those who are really abusing AI and letting it write their book for them, like I said, they're going to start losing credibility
Yeah.
because the information they're putting out there may not be correct. A quote might not be correct. The source might not be correct. And people are going to start picking up on that. And that author is going to lose credibility, whereas the authentic author is going to shine.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you so much, Kathy. That was a really great interview with you. Where can people learn more about you?
I'm on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Your Inspired Books. And I have my website, which is yourinspiredbooks.com.
Mhm.
And they can go out there and see the resources that I have and some of the books that other authors have written through me that I've coached and things like that. So those would be the easiest ways. They can always email me, Kathy at yourinspiredbooks.com, to get more information, and happy to connect and do a courtesy call with anybody that has questions on how to get started. And I'll soon be starting a school community, a free community for authors who don't know how to get started, and it'll be a workshop that they can go through at their own pace. And so if they get in touch with me through those other resources, they'll be able to learn about that too.
Cool. Yeah, I'm very excited about your school community. We'll check that out, definitely.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's just about ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I have a workshop coming up the end of the month. And
Mhm.
so if anybody's interested in that, it's a workshop to just learn how to get started writing a book. So go out to my social media or my webpage or something and get in touch with me to learn so you can participate in that if you want to.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you, Dagmar. I appreciate being here.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Streamline Success Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, and to get access to today's show notes, head over to community.marketingunraveled.com. See you on the next episode.